What's up, guys? It's your boy Eco Flame, and today we'll be talking about Mr. Beast running for president. Absolutely insane. When I heard about it, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But you know, Mr. Beast, he's like the best YouTuber in the world right now, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy was president. I will vote for him. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. So without further ado, let's watch this video real quick. This video is from the original album, so make sure you go and sub to the channel in the description below.
In 2048, YouTube's #1 content creator, Jimmy Donaldson, also known as Mr. Beast, announces a historic bid for the presidency of the United States. From here, America's biggest YouTuber joins a crowded presidential field for the White House. Throughout the past several years, Mr. Beast has floated around the idea of running for president. Those close to him have also mentioned his White House ambitions. But what would a Mr. Beast campaign look like? How will it operate? In this video, we're going to find out. Subscribe and leave a comment to let me know what you think. Today, we're going to base Mr. Beast's platform and chances off of historic precedent and predictions.
Let me ask you that about being the greatest YouTuber ever. What's next? Because I was listening to your Rogan, and I swear to God, I thought this guy should be president.
Oh!
Is that, no, I'll say that'd be fun. Is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, the only thing
Political
is,
aspirations.
yeah, I would love to.
From Jimmy's past expressed disdain for climbing the political ladder from local office to national, we assume he spends his time up until this point continuing building his YouTube empire and other businesses such as Feastables. As stated in an insider article, Mr. Beast plans to run for president in his mid-40s. By the time he's in his mid-40s, the nearest presidential year will approximately be 2048. By 2048, Jimmy will reach the constitutional age of eligibility, being at least 35 years old and already meeting the 14-year residency requirement, as well as being a natural-born citizen, having been born in Kansas. Slightly less than half of the states in the country allow candidates to use nicknames on the presidential ballot. In these states, for more name recognition and for brand cohesion, we assume Jimmy would run as Mr. Beast. Other states that prohibit nicknames, Jimmy would obviously have to run as Jimmy Donaldson. It would make both poetic and logical sense for Jimmy to announce from his hometown in Greenville, North Carolina, a town he never left as his current base of operations. In the present, Mr. Beast works with the town's mayor and monthly calls on using the Mr. Beast business to help bolster the town's economic growth. It would be symbolic to announce from a town whose economic success he's played a significant role in, and especially if his home state of North Carolina solidifies as a swing state in the next few decades, having been just decided as recently as the 2020 election by just about a percentage point, making the state competitive for Democrats and Republicans in 2024. Inevitably, because it's politics, Mr. Beast's public opinion will drop once he jumps into the presidential race. Remaining apolitical and nonpartisan is something that Jimmy's been very conscious of for a long time. His manager Reed commented on advising Mr. Beast in 2018 to avoid the use of guns in his videos.
And him and I talked about it a lot in the early days, is like, we got to stop the gun stuff.
Right, like there's a format of that on television, and there are ads that play before that video.
But a 18-year-old kid in the middle of nowhere, you know, shooting stuff at random was like not something people were going to sponsor.
Another case of this has been shown in a podcast from Lex Friedman interviewing Mr. Beast. When asked about his opinions on censorship, Jimmy deferred the question.
With shadow banning and censorship and all that kind of topic, especially if you see it in other platforms like Twitter, do you think about the role of centralized control of which information isn't or isn't made available through search and discovery?
I'll be honest, I never really think about it. So
you just try to make fun videos that
I'm kind of more in my own lane, but it's not like that I don't just specifically think about that. I just like a lot of stuff in general. Like I'm just kind of in my own lane, thinking about my own stuff.
One of the reasons why he has expressed wanting to run is to work on bridging our political polarization. Like many Americans, Mr. Beast's political views can't be labeled Democrat or Republican in the two-party system. A few clues on what a Mr. Beast presidential platform could look like. Based on Jimmy's work on Team Trees and Team C's, being pro-environment would obviously be a plank on the platform. So will social progressivism, which parallels Jimmy's public support for the Black Lives Matter movement and the LGBTQ community, supporting his childhood friend Chris's transition. Economically, he's voiced support for some form of universal basic income or stimulus. He's interacted with the 2020 presidential candidate Andrew Yang in the past, who made these ideas mainstream. It also makes sense as he's built a career off of giving money. He has stated that he wants to show he can't be bought. thought. If I had literally $0 in my bank account and I was like, vote for me, I feel like that's a pretty good campaign thing. These progressive policies mirror the lean of young people, including the iPad kids who comprise many of Mr. Beast's audience. They will ease in and comprise the majority of America's electorate and will be part of his winning coalition. But the point is, by the time Mr. Beast runs, the youngest of his current audience will be of voting age. Mr. Beast's Olympics video also shows what his foreign policy could look like, such as what countries he would recognize if elected president. Of course, that's not without controversy. It's been called a geopolitical nightmare and cursed for the countries it recognizes and doesn't. There will be several key advantages Mr. Beast will enjoy, but also disadvantages he'll suffer from. Among the list of advantages includes money, obviously. He can self-finance. Jimmy has strong financial backing. He stated that he would make giving away money a part of his campaign. Because Mr. Beast can self-finance his campaign, he's less likely to listen to the special interests, including political action committees and lobbyists. An electorate tired of corruption could find this refreshing. And there's precedent to this. Billionaires before, such as Ross Perot, most notably financed their own national campaign. However, Perot didn't enjoy the name recognition that Jimmy has right now and will likely increase in the future, which leads me to my next point. Loyal following. Already, Mr. Beast has more social media followers than many former US presidents and sitting senators. His YouTube channel has been watched by more than 10% of the world. In terms of viewership and following, no other creator comes even close. He is undoubtedly the most influential content creator ever in YouTube. Jimmy's campaign can bring a large swath of traditionally apathetic voters into the voting process. Like other celebrities such as Taylor Swift, Jimmy already wields the influence that can increase turnout and civic engagement with a social media post. These first-time voters who believed in Jimmy before he entered politics will follow him there. Attention. Mr. Beast will enjoy the luxury of having traditional media and the internet on his side, but more especially the latter. It'll be a big thing on the internet for sure, because it's possible that they could elect the first YouTube president. It was the internet that propelled a then Senator Barack Obama into the national spotlight and helped in his run for the presidency, as he used the internet to build a grassroots donor base. It was traditional media's laser coverage of celebrity Donald Trump's campaign that helped him win as well. A lot of debates and other events in the presidential election process involve playing to the audience. Jimmy is a natural entertainer. He knows how to communicate his message most effectively, which is key to a country seeking new leadership. Outsider. Another advantage for Mr. Beast is being an outsider. Historically, the country has had a hunger for anti-establishment figures that can shake the system up. Mr. Beast, with his lack of traditional political experience, can be used as a strength, as voters will look to him as an anti-career politician candidate. Someone who could be seen as the man of the people, as he hasn't been in Washington for decades and still remains incredibly grounded to the people throughout his philanthropy. Among the list of disadvantages, Mr. Beast running as an independent or his own party candidate has a strong chance of being locked out of the presidency if the country doesn't abolish the electoral college system. Historically, independent as well as third-party bids for the White House have failed. In recent memory, we have not had an independent US president. Unless you run under one of the two parties, your chances of winning the presidency are slim. Even former President Teddy Roosevelt, who failed to secure his election nomination as the Republican candidate, chose to run as a third party under the Bull Moose label. Even a former president failed to get a sizable share of the electoral votes.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Age could also be made an issue in the campaign. Voters might think Mr. Beast is too young at this point in time. Older voters who are less likely to know of Mr. Beast, or pragmatic young voters, will write Mr. Beast off as a perennial candidate among the likes of the guy Vermin Supreme, who runs every cycle while wearing a shoe for a hat. Again, assuming he continues making YouTube videos up until this point, other voters will criticize Jimmy for his lack of political experience and will write him off as unserious. They'll argue that Jimmy's experience as a YouTuber will not translate over to being a good world leader. But then again, America has had an entertainer to the presidency pipeline. California elected Hollywood actor Ronald Reagan to the governorship, and then later the country elected him to the White House. Even more amazingly, America elected Donald Trump directly to the presidency, who, unlike his 44 predecessors, held no office prior. It's impossible for pundits at times to 100% accurately predict the next election cycle, much less predict a cycle decades away. Who knows? Mr. Beast might not even run for the presidency because of the time he needs to allocate to the campaign, as well as the years of planning in advance. Winning the presidency would also require Jimmy to sacrifice 4 years of his life at the minimum, and if he wants to seek re-election, another 4 on top of that. The job itself, already hard to earn, will require lots of energy and stress. By the end of Jimmy's term, he could wound up with a lot of gray hair, but Jimmy's smart. Like for his buried alive or no eating video, he'll consult with the veterans in the field. He'll have meetings with the best campaign strategists, consultants, and organizers he can find before making a decision. Already, he's been in some sort of political conversations. He's friends with those in politics, including former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and billionaire Elon Musk. He's been on a poker show with Senator Ted Cruz, and his hearing blindness video sparked political dialogue. While any presidential election in the 2040s is decades away, the grounds for a potential Mr. Beast presidential campaign is constantly being built, whether Jimmy knows it or not. Everything Jimmy's doing across the country, opening a Mr. Beast restaurant in New Jersey to giving money to strangers in California, is setting up the groundwork for Mr. Beast for president. The people whose lives have been touched by him will be his most loyal supporters.
So after all of this, I feel like Mr. Beast would be a really good president. I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to make some money. Mr. Beast, I hope when you're president, you like slime me some bands, cause come on, who doesn't love money? Mr. Beast, bro, I'm voting for you. Comment down in the comment section below if you're voting for Mr. Beast.